I drove 4,000 kilometers, 2,500 miles, not knowing where this journey would take me. I gave up familiar surroundings, friends, my job, my security, everything that was familiar to me. And in doing so, I began to let go of my old pattern of survival and comfort. Also, I found a new pattern, the journey itself. This would set a new foundation for my life, which would develop even further in the coming years. I'm Emma Aurora, and this is my transformation story. I landed at Bible college, something that I never planned to do, but there I was, and these are the main things that I learned. My New Testament professor said one day in class, in front of all the students, that no one really knows what the Bible actually means. All the well-known scholarly interpretations of the Bible are just that, interpretations. This was incredibly freeing information for me because it meant that I could make up my own mind what it meant. Also, learning the historical context of the Bible and the events in the Bible, the way things are described, the way things are written, the choice of words and the meanings of the original words and how they were translated, all of that was very helpful in understanding what was actually written on the page. It made certain things make more sense. Church history was an area that shocked me and also left me feeling very unimpressed with the church and Christianity in general, at least the history of it at that point, and the way the Christian message had been used against people instead of for them. Being at Bible college was, of course, difficult. I was thrown into an environment where I was surrounded by people all the time. Even being in my room did not mean that I would get time alone, as I had a roommate. The college itself was in the suburbs. All around there were houses, cars, people, shops, things. And going for a walk in nature was kind of difficult. And even going for a walk along the footpaths through the suburbs where there are nice trees, there are nice things in people's gardens, it still felt very like a closed-in space. I felt a bit pressured from all sides because when I look at a house, I think people. When I see a car, I think people. And just their presence and knowing they were there, possibly seeing me, possibly not, but for me that was a form of pressure, because being around people was very draining still. It cost me a lot of energy to be happy and nice to people and acceptable as part of my survival mechanism. I did begin rising early in the morning and going outside with my Bible and reading and praying by myself. And that was a time of day when no one else was awake. So I felt alone, and that was the only really time and space I had to myself, where I could breathe, where I could recharge my batteries, so to say. But it was also this time of being plugged in to my inner world, or being open to the universe speaking to me. Even when it was cold, I would go outside and wrap a blanket around myself just so that I could have that private space. I kept singing and playing my guitar. I would go to the chapel when it was empty. When other classes were on and I had free time, I would go there where I felt like I could be loud and no one could hear me. And there I would play and sing my heart out, and that was always very therapeutic for me. I joined an evening worship team, a small evening event that was just for students at the college. And not many people came. It was a very small event, so it wasn't very nerve-wracking in comparison to singing in the worship team at church and the amount of people that would be watching you there. So I had a very small audience, which was a good place to start. And the main leader of the worship team, though, he left at some point, and so I took over, and it was a very small thing. It was very relaxed, and so I felt like I could do that, and that was a lot of fun. I learned a lot from that experience. I didn't know it at the time, but singing was a way of releasing the tension in my body and all of the stored trauma and emotions that I experienced through childhood and that had built up over the years. I was able to release some of that tension through singing, through my voice. And it was also allowing my soul to speak. This is a very new idea to me that I've discovered, that our voice, and especially our singing voice, carries a frequency and a message from the depths of our soul, which supports our growth and helps us along our way on our path to becoming who we really are, and to help us transform or grow or become able to do what it is we're here to do, each of us. You can also say that it was reprogramming my system in a way. And I find this such a beautiful way, such a beautiful tool, because not only is it enjoyable, it was bypassing my conscious mind. So I wasn't singing consciously, reprogram me, I want to be better, I want to be changed, I want to be healed, I want to be happier, I want to be rich, or any of those things. None of that was on my mind. I wasn't consciously doing anything except enjoying the experience of singing, creating a sound, a beautiful sound to me, and the joy of it. It was simply a joy, always a joyful experience for me. It was something that made me feel good, made me feel happy, made me feel free. During my time at Bible college, it was sometime in the first year, I don't actually know when, possibly the first 6 months, I became overwhelmed with emotion once again. This had happened to me in previous years. And so I did what I had done before. I went to the local church down the road, which I started going to with the other Bible college students. That's what you did. You still go to church on Sundays, even if you're at Bible college. And the administration ladies went and got one of the pastors, and he came out and spoke to me. And he recommended to me a prayer ministry program, which was simply little teams of 2 or 3 women. Possibly they had men too, but I don't know about that. Little groups of women, 2 or 3 together, who would come together once a week and pray with a person, for them, over them, and support them in healing processes. So I did that for about 6 weeks, I think. That's their standard time frame. And I was so thankful for this step. This was a step in the direction of getting help, finally. With these ladies, I could tell them how I was feeling, so I had someone to listen. And they would pray with me in such a way and prompt me to speak out forgiveness for certain things to other people in my life that had caused me pain. And also the concept of breaking vows or promises that I made as a response to this pain. That's quite a natural thing. You experience something traumatic and you hold it against someone else that they caused you pain. And also we tend to make promises to ourselves in general in an attempt to protect ourselves from further pain. So things like, I'll never let blah, blah, blah ever happen to me again, as a simple example. So this was a huge step for me in recognizing that I needed healing and in doing something actively about it. The goal of the Bible College was to prepare students for becoming missionaries and sending them to foreign countries, or having them join missionary organizations in Australia, who then send other people overseas. Everyone else at college seemed to have a country or a mission organization on their heart or on their mind that they were going to do or go to when they finished college. They had a plan. Not me. I only had the impression that I was going to get married when I finished Bible college. And I told no one about this. It was a very faint impression. In my mind, I wasn't really sure about it. That was one reason I didn't tell anyone. Another reason, I didn't think anyone would believe me. It was different to what everyone else was talking about. And I didn't want to interfere with the energy of it. In my mind, I wasn't sure about it, but somewhere deep inside, I was very sure of this. I also want to share that I'd had a few boyfriends over the years. Things hadn't gone particularly well. Not long after I became a Christian, I gave the idea of me having a relationship, getting married, over to the universe. I entrusted it to the universe and said, you choose, because your choice will be the best choice for me. I did not have any confidence that I would be able to choose that for myself because of the way that my previous relationships had turned out. After 6 months of college, so the first day back after our break in the middle of the year, a certain young man from Germany started paying unusual attention to me. And I knew deep within me that if he pursued me, then we would get married. That he would be the person chosen for me by the universe. I just knew. After only 1 year of dating, we got married in the middle of winter in country Victoria at a wedding venue which was a set of buildings made to look like a castle. It's called Camelot Castle in Yellingbo, Victoria. It still exists if you want to look it up. This was a dream come true for me, and at the same time, a new challenge. Being married meant sharing my private space with another human being. This was a very important step in my journey. I discovered in more recent years that my husband and my now daughter, who of course came later, and I have been a family before in this exact constellation in a previous life. It was maybe the 1700s. It's difficult to say for sure the times of my past lives. Sometimes I have received a very clear impression and clear information. Other times it's been a bit blurry, as though it's not that important. And I was a maid, actually, in my husband's family's household. They were a bit of an upper class family. They were socially well regarded and fairly well off. They had maids, servants, so they were well off. And the son of that family fell in love with me. Even though it was not socially acceptable, he married me anyway. His family didn't approve and his friends didn't approve, but he honored me and married me anyway. And I'm so, so thankful for him for that. Even now in this life, I have great respect and thankfulness for him in my heart. Now coming back to this life, our marriage formed a very important bond. Not just in the usual sense of a relationship, we had a soul connection, and energetically we are for each other or complementing each other. I am very thankful for my time at that Bible college, for the people there and everything. I learned so much. It was a very important phase of my life. There's some very, very important changes and events happened in my life at that time. And of course, after we got married, the journey continued.